one day somebody does something unspeakable to someone else, to someone you hardly knew, and you do something about it, because you can.
This story comes to us from CBS News regarding Don Lemon. I think a lot of you have been waiting on this one. Journalist Don Lemon was arrested. His attorney and multiple sources with direct knowledge told CBS News. The arrest comes nearly 2 weeks after Don Lemon was at an anti-immigration protest that disrupted a service at a church in Minnesota. A source familiar with the matter said a grand jury was impaneled. The FBI and Homeland Security Investigations, a law enforcement agency within the Department of Homeland Security, were involved in the arrest, said sources. Abby Lowell, Lemon's lawyer, confirmed he was taken into custody by federal agents in Los Angeles, where he was covering this weekend's Grammy Awards. Now, Don has been a journalist for 30 years, and his constitutionally protected work in Minneapolis was no different than what he's always done, Lowell said in a statement. That's the attorney. Said the First Amendment exists to protect journalists whose role it is to shine light on the truth and hold those in power accountable. There is no more important time for people like Don Lemon to be doing this work, said Lowell. The Justice Department is focused on arresting Don Lemon instead of investigating the federal agents who killed Renee Good and Alex Preddy in Minnesota earlier this month, calling it the real indictment of wrongdoing in this case. This unprecedented attack on the First Amendment and transparent attempt to distract attention from the many crises facing this administration will not stand. Don will fight these charges vigorously and thoroughly in court, he said. That was Lowell. So Attorney General Pam Bondi said in a statement shared to social media that federal agents arrested Don Lemon and 3 others in connection with the coordinated attack on City's church in St. Paul, Minnesota. And we've seen a couple of the arrests already. A source briefed on the investigation said Lemon faces charges of conspiracy to deprive others of their civil rights and violation of the FACE Act by allegedly interfering by force with the exercise of others' First Amendment rights. Last week, a federal appellate court declined to order a lower court judge to sign arrest warrants for the 5 people, including Lemon, in connection with the January 18th anti-ICE protest inside a church in St. Paul, Minnesota. However, one of the 3 appellate court judges said he felt there was probable cause to justify the arrest, according to court filings and sources familiar with the matter. Multiple people have been charged in connection with the protest when demonstrators entered St. Paul's City's church after discovering that one of its pastors is an ICE official. The Justice Department had asked the appellate court to compel the U.S. District Court in Minnesota to sign the arrest warrants over civil rights charges, alleging the defendants were unlawfully interfering with the churchgoers' constitutionally protected freedom to practice religion. Excuse me. Lemon worked at CNN for more than 15 years, but was fired in 2023. He announced in 2024 that he would be launching the Don Lemon Show on X. But the social media site, which was Twitter, owned by billionaire Elon Musk, ended the partnership months later, shortly after Don Lemon interviewed Musk. Lemon now hosts a show on YouTube. So Don Lemon was fired. He goes to do this show on Twitter X, and he interviews Musk, and then Musk goes, no, not on my platform, because he owns the platform. But what gets me to real quick, I just want to throw this in there, for those who might remember or be familiar with it, didn't Elon Musk, when he bought X, say, I'm buying it for free speech. I'm going to allow people to have free speech on this platform. That's the trouble with this platform, no free speech. And he bought it. And then, of course, Don Lemon wants to do his show on X. And Musk goes, no, not you. We're going to hush you up. But I guess he can do that. It's his free speech right? To censor people. I don't know. That always gets me, too, when people say, I'm for free speech. I am, especially on YouTube. And then they mute you on their YouTube channel so you can't comment anymore. And then they go, well, it's my right under free speech to mute you. Hold on, are you for free speech or are you for censorship? Well, that's my right. Okay, I don't know. It's like a Zen riddle. It's like what kind of weird Zen puzzle do we have here in that respect or that regard? I don't know. But Don Lemon here, and the biggest thing, I'm done here. Let me just say this one sentence or one thing. When they went into that church and disrupted that church service, they absolutely violated some of those people's First Amendment right to practice their faith in public. Because under the First Amendment, you have the First Amendment right to free practice of religion. You practice your religion, and that's why when people say, these people that are Muslim and they're practicing maybe Islam here in the United States, they say we should kick them out. Don't let these Muslims in our country. They, and I'm thinking, and some of them are American citizens. I saw a Facebook post where this American citizen said she was targeted because she had the Muslim garb on. She was wearing Muslim garments. And she said she was targeted and called a terrorist. And people were like, well, yeah, you're Muslim. Yeah. But what happened to free religion in the U.S.? I don't know. Am I off base? Let me know. And let me know what you think about this and the protest in the church. Did they have the right to freely assemble? Or were they violating the right to free religion? Let me know.